I'm kind of a mess this morning. Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jess, and forgive me this morning. I've tried to make this video several times, and I think this time I'm just gonna make it, and however it turns out is how it turns out, because I've been trying to make this video for an hour, and I have fallen apart several times, and I'm gonna tell you right now that when I fall apart and I start crying, it's not pretty. So that's your warning, and the disclaimer here is that this is going to be the video on grief and loss. And if you're in the thick of grief and loss right now yourself, I want you to do what you need to do for your own sanity and your own well-being and mental and emotional health. If that means you want to tune in and watch this video and have a roll of tissue paper or toilet paper to help you through it, thank you very much for being here, because we all need to support each other, especially in moments that are mentally and emotionally challenging. On the flip side of that, and if for your own mental health and emotional well-being, you cannot watch a video on grief and loss, I entirely understand. Turn this video off. It is not the one for you, and I hold no ill will. I want you to do what you need to do to take care of yourself, always. Having said all that, thank you for being here. And please remember that I am not a professional. I have no professional advice to offer or recommendations. This is just my own experience. If you do need to seek counseling or other therapy to help you through grief or other life experiences, please do so. And don't worry about what other people think. You need to be able to take care of you. Please reach out to someone and get the help that you need. Okay, all of that said, okay, my experiences. Several months ago, there was a passing in my family, and things had developed in such a way that I had to take charge and help with the final arrangements, which was an experience that up until that point I had never had to deal with. In such a manner where I was the one making the decisions. So that was a new experience, and the loss of any loss is difficult, and any but I think it's difficult in its own way, depending on there are so many different factors, where you are as the person who has experienced the loss, where you are emotionally and mentally, what other things are going on in life, and what your relationship had looked like up until the passing. So there are many, many different factors, and that loss, as any loss, has some difficulty to it and some challenges to it, and there's a grieving process of some sort is always expected, and I went through that with this family member, but then December 17th, 2023 came around, and I had to say goodbye to a four-legged family member. And that one has been extremely difficult to deal with. I knew it was going to be difficult because of the nature of our relationship and the length of the relationship. He is my best friend. He's my best friend, and I had to say goodbye. And I knew it was going to be difficult. I have had I've had other pets in the past, and I've had to say goodbye, and I knew it was going to be difficult. What I was not anticipating was the impact, the depth of the impact that this loss has. I knew that all of those firsts, the getting up in the morning and not having the breakfast dance, or the cuddling up at night, or the peeking in while I'm taking a shower. I knew all of those were going to be difficult. And they still are, because I've had several showers and several opportunities to, go to bed. And I still have other pets that I need to feed. And so I'm still experiencing all of those experiences without my dog. And it all still seems very raw, and each time I get in the shower, there's the thought that he's not going to be peeking under the curtain to check on me, or he's not, when I get in bed, he's not there waiting to cuddle. The loss is still fairly new, but I've had several opportunities since his loss, because today is January 10th. I've had several opportunities to have all of these experiences where it's no longer the first, but it's still difficult to have these experiences without him. And like I said, I've had to say goodbye to other four-legged family members, pets, and even family members and human family members in the past. And yeah, I've gone through a grieving process for all of those to some extent, but this one has really hit home, hit me hard. And I can't have shame in that. That's how I feel. I feel like it's an expression of the love and the depth of the relationship that was shared for so many years. So I have no shame in the fact that I'm still grieving a dog. When I first realized that it was different from other pet losses, there's a level of guilt because I'm like, I don't understand. I loved all of my pets, and I was very close to my pets. You're still doing the same things. You're still, you still walk them, and you still, you bathe them, and you do all the same things for these different pets. They're just different beings, but you're performing the same things. So, I fed my animals. I took them for walks and groomed them and shared funny moments and frustrating moments and all of the things. But I noticed with this loss, it's just different. It's deeper. And it's so much harder. And so I have had some guilt around this idea that I haven't grieved as deeply for other pets. So I was angry at myself for that. But you can't be. You can't be. Every relationship is different. Whether it's human to human relationships or human to animal relationships, every relationship is different, and every relationship has different layers, and that is all going to be a factor in how you decide to grieve. Or not, I shouldn't say decide, because I don't think that grief is a decision. It just is. So yeah, I mean, when the day that it happened on the 17th, I knew that his time was coming. I had known for some time that it was coming. So I tried to prepare myself. I tried to say, okay, well, I know what I want to do to honor him. He's my best friend, and I want to be there for him through the whole process. So he rode on my lap to the vet office, and I told them, I said, I'm gonna hold him through the whole process. And that's what I did. I wrapped him up in his little blankie, his favorite blankie. And I can't, because it was raining that day. And I carried him, cradled in my arms like a little baby, because that's his favorite thing. And I carried him into the office, and they said, do you want to put him on the table? No. You're not taking my dog. This is happening on our terms. On the terms we decide. The only thing I didn't get to decide was that when they had to take him to a different room to put a line in for they had to put a line in. So and I had my daughter with me, and I had one of my sons with me for this experience. And I'm extremely grateful that I had that support with me. Because boy, did I need it. And we sat in the room and we talked to him a lot. And I had experience with my kids that were there. I had experienced some emotions, not only from myself, but from my kids, that were unexpected and beautiful, because I had no idea that they were as emotional about it as I was, to at least to some degree. So in some weird way, that was comforting. And I held him for some time. I didn't want to let go. That ride home was interesting, because after you get done crying and you kind of clean your face up a little bit, there's the numb. And they say that one of the first steps of grief, I think I read, is denial. I never went through denial. It was very, very apparent that I wasn't going to have his little life in my life. At least not in the way that I was used to. So I don't know if I can't say that I've experienced, I don't even know what the 5 stages of grief are, but I can honestly say that I don't think that the stage of denial was one that I've gone through, because it's been very apparent to me, and I don't even know if I've gone through stages. It's just it just kind of all runs together, like, I don't know, it just all runs together in like this one big emotional blob of grief. And I will tell you that I have experienced guilt, whereas, I mentioned I felt guilt about not grieving for animals in the same way. Hell, I don't even know if I've grieved the loss of humans to this depth, at least not since I was a very young child. And so there was some kind of guilt wrapped around that. And I was like, well, why am I grieving so much more for an animal? And then I stopped myself, because I realized that the questions that I was posing, why didn't I grieve my other animals to this depth and this magnitude, or the same for people? And I realized that my gauge, I guess, of what grief should look like or feel like is something that's put on people by society. There's no real gauge for grief, and I don't think that there's any shame in grieving animals on a deeper level than some humans. It's natural. It's how you're feeling. It's not a choice or a judgment or a lack of love for others. It's just how you're feeling and your emotions. And that's not wrong. It's just not wrong. And I stopped looking at it as, this is a dog and that's a human. It's a life. And it's a life. And it was a life with shared experiences on a daily basis. It doesn't matter if it was a dog, a cat, a bird, a fish, a rat. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it was a spider. If you grieve, and you should be able to acknowledge that and move through that, and it should be respected. And I know that not all people are going to understand it. Maybe they just haven't grieved that deeply for an animal. And that's not to say that their grieving process that their grieving process is any less valid. They're just different people. Everyone's grieving process is valid. Everyone has a right to grieve in their own way. And some people can grieve within a matter of a day or two, and others can take much, much longer. I don't know how long my grieving process will be. I just know that it is what it is, and I'm not going to apologize for it. The experience that I'm having, aside from my own inside myself, is that society seems to want you to kind of hurry up and get over it. Excuse me for one. Okay, so thank you for that. I needed to step away for just a moment. But like I was saying, the one thing that I have noticed beyond my own internal experiences with grief is that society, at least in my experience right now, kind of anticipates you to take a week off or whatever and then be ready to jump right back into life. And, I get it. There are responsibilities, especially when you're an adult. You have to pay the bills, and you have to do adulting. I mean, that's life. I get it. But I just really feel like society and as a whole anticipates you to kind of, for lack of better words, hurry up and get over it. Because I've experienced that, and from some people that I'm working with, and they know that I've had a loss, but I haven't told them that it's over an animal. I can't imagine what the response would be like if they knew it was an animal loss. Listen, here's the thing. We're human beings, and we are hardwired to be social and to bond with others. I mean, there have been studies that have shown that, if you have friends and family, in most cases, a lot of people have a better quality of life and longevity. And if that's the case, the flip side of that is when somebody in that circle that you've created for yourself passes, you can't just get over it. Not everyone, I shouldn't say that may be true for some people, but not everyone is wired that way. And I'm here to tell you that that's okay. If you need time to grieve more than a week, that's okay. If you can grieve for 1 hour and get it all out of your system, that's okay too. I'm still in the thick of it. I'm still feeling it very, very raw. Feeling it. And that has to be okay, because And that's what my reality is right now. And I know that not everybody gets it. And not everybody is going to get it or understand your grief. And I don't care if you've been grieving for an hour. I don't care if you've been grieving for 5 years. If you're feeling it and you're going through it, it's valid. And you have a right to all of those feelings. What I would say, what I would encourage is find a way to cope with it. Because I'm not going to get over this anytime soon. I know that. I may never fully get over it. And I have to be, I have to be okay with that. What is important is that I acknowledge it, first of all, instead of trying to stuff it down and pretend that it doesn't exist, because it does exist. And it is now, at least in these moments, a part of me. Find whatever helps you. Find whatever makes you comfortable. For me, a couple of days after his passing, I woke up at some strange hour, as I often do, and I just felt the need to write. So I started writing his memoir, and I'm writing our life story together, and I'm writing it to him. Because it feels like what needs to be done. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't know if I'm just going to keep it on my computer forever. I don't know if I'm going to print it on my printer. I have thought about creating a blog that kind of goes hand in hand with this channel, and I was thinking about making this, or that memoir, kind of the blog post that goes along with this video, but I haven't made any final decisions. I might just sit with it for a while and just let it be mine. If first of all, if having a blog to go along with this channel is something that you would like to see in the future, comment down below and let me know if that's something that you're interested in, and I will consider it. But I want to get consistent with posting videos on YouTube before I venture out and do a blog, because I know less about blogging than I do posting videos on YouTube at this point. Anyway, what I want to say to you is, if you're feeling grief, whether it's over the loss of a job, the loss of a family member, or the loss of a pet, your feelings are valid. You are valid. You have a right to grieve, and that's going to look different for everybody. But whatever it is for you, you have a right to feel it and to move through it. And sometimes we have to, as we're moving through it, we stop and we get stuck, like trudging through mud. That's kind of what it's been feeling like for me. And at some point, for myself, at some point I have moments where I cry privately and just to myself, because I think at some point, because others don't understand it, they can get frustrated, or they can get concerned to where they will worry about your well-being, and I don't want to cause that for anyone. That's not my intention, and I'm fine. I'm not suicidal or anything like that. It's just I'm going through a grieving process. I do have a couple someones that I talk to when the need arises. But for me, sometimes writing is what helps, because there are just certain things that I know others can't understand, because they're not feeling it. They're not in the thick of it, or they didn't have this particular relationship. What I will say is that no matter what your situation is, no matter how long you've been grieving, no matter what you're grieving for, if you're having a difficult time with it, if it's challenging for you emotionally or mentally, find help. Please find someone to talk to. Hell, if you can't find anyone to talk to, send me an email. My email is linked in the description of this channel, and I will try to put it down in the comments. If you need somebody to talk to, if you need to just vent and you have no one else, send me an email. I'll talk to you, and I'll tell you about my little friend. Sorry, I didn't mean for, I didn't mean for this video to be all about me crying. It's because it's real. It's just very real, and it's where I'm at in this moment. I had given a lot of thought to today's video. I thought, well, maybe I'll film about the challenges that I'm having with my wheelchair. Maybe I'll discuss my condition and what it looks like for me. And then I said no, because I don't want to ignore what I'm feeling. It needs to be addressed. Now, if I'm having a challenging time with it, I know that others are as well. I have, for my grieving process, as I mentioned, I have been writing his memoir. I've been talking to other people about it. One other thing that I have been doing is I have been watching other YouTube channels that are discussing the grieving process for, specifically, in my case, the loss of a pet. So it's a very valid thing, and the fact that some parts of society have this opinion that it's an animal and not a human being, you should just get over it, or you should just get another pet. There's a term that I'm learning called disenfranchised grief, where I'm assuming that means the most of society will say it's a pet. It's not to be grieved in the same manner or as deeply as a human being. And I'm here to tell you that it is very valid, and it doesn't matter if it's an animal. I mean, it could be a tarantula. That's not my thing, but if it is yours, it's a living soul. It's a living being. It's and if you felt a bond and you're feeling the grief, your feelings are valid. I cannot say that enough. Your feelings are valid, and you have a right to what you feel. And if other people don't understand that, that is fine. You find those of us that can relate and that will support you, because we're out there. And if for nothing else, I'm here to tell you, if you're feeling grief over a person, an animal, talk to somebody. Find what it is. Find little rituals that are going to help you feel better. At least in the moment. It's not going to make it all go away. But little things. My little dog, after he got cremated, I have other pets that have been cremated that I'm not ready to finalize a decision with their ashes. So I have them in their little urns up on a shelf, and that's how I'm dealing with that for right now. And at some point in my life, when I'm ready, I will make a final decision as to what the final resting place for the ashes will be. Right now, my little guy, the one that I just lost, I can't put him on the shelf yet. Nope, not there yet. So I carry his little box around with me during the day when I'm in the office. Most of the day, he's sitting right there, and that little box is sitting right there. And then when I go to bed, I put him on the nightstand next to my bed, because right now, that's my comfort place. That's what I can do. I'm just, at some point, I will put him with the rest of my pets that have passed. But I'm not there yet. And that's okay. And I don't care if people don't understand that. They don't have to. I know that I'm okay. And I know that it's part of my grieving process. I carry him around with me. At least around in my house, because he used to follow me from room to room. So I take him in the morning. I take him into my office, because that's where I'm going to spend most of the day. And then at night, I bring him back into the bedroom, because that was our routine. That's what we did. And this is part of my grieving process. And this is how I deal with it. And it's fine. I'm fine. That may change at some point, but I'm not there yet. And I am talking about it. I'm making it not so taboo. which is important. And I have some other things planned. I want to get I have some other things that I want to do. I have some other things that I want to do to honor his life, and then to honor the lives of other pets that I have lost. And I will. I'm just not there yet. Anyway, enough with the heavy. Then the next videos that I make will be a little more upbeat. At least that's my intention today. Thank you for being here. And like I said, no matter what you're grieving, no matter how long you've been grieving, your feelings are valid and they're important. And when you need help, find the support that you need. Please. And also, you know, if you can't find anyone else to talk to, my email address will be linked somewhere in the description box or in the about section of this channel. Email me if you want to talk. If you just need to vent, I'm okay with it. Because we all need somebody. But I encourage you to find the resources that you need within your community, because they are out there. They do exist. And there are some great videos here on YouTube about grieving the loss of a pet or the loss of a loved one. I encourage you to check those out. The best way to do it is to put in the basic information in the search bar on YouTube for your particular situation, and you'll find a video that will cover what you're looking for. I'm certain of it. And reach out into your specific community and find the resources you need. Get the support that you need. And don't put a time limit on yourself, because there isn't one for grief. I think for myself, I'm always going to be grieving at some level, because I'm always going to feel this loss and the loss of others. But life goes on, and we have to, we're here, and we need to find a way to honor those that have meant so much to us. So whatever that looks like for you, I wish you the best. And again, I apologize that this video is so full of sadness and tears. But again, it's very real, and it's where I'm at in this moment in my life. And I always wanted to share my experiences and what I'm doing to get through on the other side of the negative ones and the hard ones. This is my life. So thank you for being here. I hope that you remain strong, that you get the help that you need, that we can support one another. And remember, if you're not the one grieving, but you know that someone is, Even if you don't understand it, if you can't relate, that's fine. That is perfectly fine. Just be kind. Be kind to them. Because even though you don't understand it, they're hurting. And they're already in pain. Just be kind. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.